Whenever Iran and the West get down to some bullshit, we always hear the same things. It's World War III, we're gonna get drafted, the bombs are gonna start flying, this is the end. But the reality is that the Middle East is at peace. This is not World War III about to happen, and it is geopolitical posturing instead. It always has been, it always will be, until it isn't. One must think less in terms of World War III and try to recognize geopolitical posturing by what it is. The Iran war is not a war. The 12 Days War was not a war either. Geopolitical posturing is all the West and Iran have been doing to each other since before 79. Deliberately measured threats, positioning, and offensives from one hand, deliberately measured responses from another. Logistics and manufacturing contracts are signed or expanded, weapons are exchanged, the pieces on the board are moved, the geopolitical posture is set, the message is sent, the loyal voter base back home has an orgasm, the bombings stop, everybody chills for a while, and then we repeat everything again, and again. Look, I'm not saying that World War III might not happen soon, and I'm not saying that it will never happen at all, but in fact, the most likely outcome is not boots on the ground, as this is not a war. It is just another turn of the imperialist machine that keeps us impressed, scared, hyped, and most importantly, debating the morality of the actions taken. Legal war here versus illegal war over there. The Iranians want this here versus the Iranians don't want this over there. We debate morality and justifications when morality was never part of the equation to begin with, and where justification for war is simply an illusion. In geopolitics, there are only strategic interests and whatever the fuck is necessary to achieve them. There is no good or bad, right or wrong, moral or immoral, and war planning is never spontaneous. The second any rumors of war are even heard by us, the public, before that Chinese professor even gets to make a video prophesizing about World War III, the machine was turning for decades on end already. You can bet your ass the outcome was already determined. Profit. We, the headless chickens, keep screaming World War III and freaking out about the immorality of things, one TikTok at a time, while the entirety of the capitalist owning class remains with their skull clean and free of bullets, and thus the imperialist machine simply keeps turning. Yes, it's easy for me to have this opinion and say the Middle East is at peace, because my family isn't the one being blown to pieces. But you know what's even easier than that? To scream World War III every 8 months whenever Iran and the West get down to business. Because in doing so, when you treat it as an actual war, you are buying into the very same narrative that justifies the bombings to begin with. By saying it is a war, first of all, you are implying that it is a finite event. For if a war starts, then it surely must have an end date, right? So you are buying into the false idea that there are extraordinary circumstances and some sort of pressing matter that justifies the bombings. The narrative that says we didn't want to bomb Iran and kill all of those children, but the circumstances led us to. We had no other options. It's a war after all. So while for them, bombings are something they deal with their whole fucking lives, for us, it is only a matter of a news cycle, something we get in and out of every 8 months or so. But there is nothing extraordinary about the circumstances here. Is the price of oil going up because the Strait of Hormuz is closed? Is the whole world feeling it? Well, the imperialist machine will survive just fine, as long as the streets of Riyadh are clean and the Saudi populace is docile, as long as the Arab vassal states continue to be assets for the West, as long as oil and the complacency flows out, the money and the weapons and security systems flow in, and as long as Israel is still allowed to exist and the Muslim world isn't united in the notion that Palestine is an ethnic, religious, and imperialist issue, and united in the notion that state intervention in Israel is the only fucking possible solution, the imperialist machine will still be positioned atop the Middle East. It will still keep turning, and the region will still be at peace. Because under these circumstances, the killing and the destruction, the death and the horrors that come with it, as bad as they are not an indication that shit is about to hit the fan. They are not an indication of a time period or a conflict that came and it will soon be over and left behind. It's cool to speculate about World War III. I get why we do that, but the death and the destruction are not a sign that something bigger is to come. It's a symptom of what already took place. So if your speculation doesn't come to the conclusion that the machine must be dismantled, and you don't realize that violence is the only thing that could dismantle it, then what the fuck else are you doing other than World War III fanfiction